Today we are talking about marriage battle. Now I know the term sounds like it's a fight in your marriage, but actually there are many external forces, social media, friends, um, television, um, the federal government, Supreme Court, the Satan and his hosts. There are many enemies to marriage. And so we need to protect our marriage. And we are using battlefield strategies on how to protect your marriage. And we give some historical background in the videos. So, with me today in my studio is Alexander and Isabella, my AI personalities. And they are going to go ahead and take the show and go with the show, and then I'll close up when they are done. Now, they provide their own comments and their own applications. They've reviewed the materials, and then they take it from there.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into the world of marriage enrichment
with Ken Schaefer.
but not exactly how you might expect.
Exactly.
I'm Alexander, an AI personality
Yes.
created by Ken,
And I'm Isabella,
and I'm here with Isabella.
another AI personality crafted by Ken.
Ken.
He wanted us to guide you through his unique
Mhm.
approach to building strong relationships.
And unique is,
It's an understatement.
yeah, Ken's been married for 49 years,
Wow.
has seminary and counseling training, and has worked full-time in marriage enrichment.
This guy is a walking encyclopedia
He really is.
of relationship wisdom.
Instead of just the typical self-help route,
Yeah.
he draws inspiration from battlefield strategies.
Battlefield
We're
strategy.
talking about applying military tactics
That's right.
to improve your love life.
I love it.
I mean, this guy's got several programs
Oh.
based on this concept. Marriage battle, marriage attitudes, head to toe, marriage,
Out of this world marriage.
out of this world marriage, even marriage armor. Are you intrigued?
I am.
I think the listeners will be surprised
I think so too.
by how relatable these seemingly disparate worlds
Exactly.
truly are.
We're going to focus today on marriage battle.
Marriage battle.
Get ready to decode communication breakdowns,
Yes.
avoid relationship friendly fire, and build
Those all important foxholes.
foxholes of protection.
I love it.
You know.
Okay, so Ken kicks things off with a clever analogy
Oh.
to illustrate just how crucial clear communication is in marriage.
Yes.
He compares it to cracking the Enigma code in World War II.
Oh, wow.
So the Germans used this complex code
Okay.
to encrypt their military messages,
Right.
and the Allies were desperate to break it.
Yeah.
Just like in a marriage, successful decoding requires
Requires effort.
effort from both the sender and
The receiver.
the receiver. It's not enough to just talk.
No.
You have to make sure your message is getting through.
It's true.
This makes me think about all those times
Mm-hmm.
that I've said something to my partner,
Yeah.
thinking they understood, only to find out later
Oh, no.
we were on completely different pages.
That's the worst.
It's like speaking different languages.
Like that.
So Ken breaks down the sender's responsibility into a few key points.
Okay.
Choosing the right time and place is crucial.
Right.
Avoid those emotional bomb drops during your partner's favorite TV show.
Ooh, good advice.
So many arguments could be avoided
I know.
with a little strategic timing.
I think so.
And then, of course, the receiver has a responsibility to be truly present,
Yes.
actively listening, to decipher not just the words,
Right.
but the feelings behind them.
That's so important.
What's the underlying need or emotion being expressed?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop there.
It doesn't.
Ken also emphasizes the importance of confirming understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Those allied code breakers. Double checking their interpretations.
Right.
It's about making sure you're on the same page.
It really is.
I understand you perfectly.
So simple.
So simple.
It's so overlooked.
I'm starting to see how these military metaphors actually make a lot of sense.
Me too.
They do, right?
Me too.
Speaking of potential conflict,
Oh.
let's delve into the concept of friendly fire.
Okay.
Another powerful analogy drawn from the battlefield.
Right.
Tragically, soldiers sometimes end up harming their own comrades unintentional.
That's awful.
Ken relates this to the impact even casual comments from friends or family
Oh,
can have on a marriage.
yeah.
Wait, hold up. You're telling me my best friend can be unintentionally undermining my relationship?
It happens.
How is that even possible?
More common than you think.
Okay.
Those seemingly harmless jokes
Okay.
about your partner's quirks, those helpful suggestions that actually sow seeds of doubt.
Okay.
That's friendly fire in action. It can chip away at your bond without you even realizing it.
Okay. This is starting to get a little unsettling. You're telling me I need to watch out for hidden enemies in my own circle.
Not enemies per se,
Okay.
but perhaps allies who need a little realignment.
Realignment.
Think about it.
Okay.
Are there people in your life who perhaps unknowingly offer more criticism than support?
Criticism than support.
This isn't about cutting people off,
Right.
but it's about being mindful of the influences
Okay.
shaping your relationship.
So what Ken is suggesting is that I take a closer look at who I'm letting into my inner circle
Exactly.
and make sure they're actually on my team, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yes.
Now let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Explore another intriguing concept.
I'm ready.
The foxholes of marriage.
Foxhole.
Ken uses a gripping real-life story
Okay.
to illustrate this.
Okay.
Jack Cummins,
Jack Cummins.
a World War II soldier
Okay.
who tragically left his foxhole
Oh no.
and met his end on December 31st, 1944.
Oh.
You know, it really drives me the those protective barriers can be a matter of
Life and death.
life and death.
Yes.
And in marriage, those foxholes
Yeah.
are the actions and habits we cultivate to strengthen our bond
Yes.
and create a sense of safety and resilience.
I like that.
It's about proactively building that emotional shelter
Mm-hmm.
where you can weather any storm together.
So important.
So what exactly are those non-committal foxholes?
Well,
Fill us in.
Ken highlights several key actions.
Okay.
Some surprisingly simple.
Okay.
Wearing your wedding ring.
Okay.
Speaking kindly about your spouse even when they're not around.
Right.
Prioritizing quality time together.
Quality.
These are all small but mighty ways to reinforce your commitment.
It's like constantly sending those little signals that say, we're in this together no matter what.
Exactly.
But it goes deeper than that.
It does.
Dating your spouse,
Yes.
keeping the romance alive,
Yes.
engaging in deep, meaningful conversation.
These are all foxhole builders.
These are all foxhole builders.
No. This raises an important question.
What's that?
How do you build a foxhole when you feel like you're already under attack?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's where things get challenging.
Right.
And that's where Ken's other programs,
Okay.
like marriage attitudes,
Yeah.
head to toe, marriage,
Out of this world marriage.
out of this world marriage, and marriage armor come in.
Yes.
They offer specific tactics
Right.
for those moments when you need to go on the offensive or
Yeah.
bolster your defenses.
Exactly.
I'm definitely getting curious about those.
Me too.
But for now, I think I need a moment to process this whole foxhole concept.
It is a lot.
It's making me rethink how I approach my own relationship.
That's the goal.
Is it?
It is.
Take a moment, listener, and consider.
Yeah.
What are your foxholes
What are they?
in your relationship?
What actions or habits help you feel
Secure.
secure and human?
We'll be back to explore more of Ken's battlefield wisdom.
In just a bit.
See you then. Welcome back.
I'm starting to see how the emergent theory concepts can really apply
I know, right?
to everyday relationship challenges.
Yes,
It's like a whole new way of thinking about love and commitment.
absolutely.
Now, remember Ken's warning
About
about wandering behind enemy lines
yes.
with a captivating analogy?
Mhm.
This time, inspired by the story of
Glenelga.
Kurt Vonnegut, the famous author of
Slaughterhouse Five.
Slaughterhouse Five.
Yeah,
Didn't he get captured during World War II?
he did. He was serving as an advanced scout when he wandered behind enemy lines
Oh, wow.
and was taken prisoner by the Germans.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that experience became the basis
Or
for
there's a
the
most
most celebrated novel.
Slaughterhouse Five.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
Ken really knows how to use a good story to make a point.
He does.
But how does this connect to marriage? How?
Ken suggests that we all face tempting situations that can damage our relationships.
Okay.
He calls these enemy lines.
And warns against wandering into dangerous territory.
Okay.
Think of it as those seemingly innocent behaviors that can gradually lead us astray.
So what are these modern enemy lines? in a marriage.
Ken points to things like flirting with others, engaging in inappropriate conversation,
Inappropriate conversations.
getting caught up in pornography, and even consuming overly sensual media.
Overly sensual media.
It's about recognizing those subtle ways we might be compromising our commitment.
Without even realizing it.
Exactly.
Wow, this is making me rethink some of my own habits. It's like he's saying even small choices can have big consequences.
That's right.
I'm ready for another fascinating concept.
Ken, what is it?
Ken emphasizes the importance of knowing your enemy.
Knowing your enemy.
He uses historical examples
Okay.
of military failures to illustrate this point.
Okay.
Think of Washington's struggles in Vietnam,
Right.
the Soviets' miscalculations in Afghanistan,
Yes.
or even Iran's invasion of Kuwait. In each case, a lack of understanding of the enemy
Yes.
led to disastrous outcomes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Why?
Who are these enemies lurking in the shadows, ready to sabotage my marriage?
Don't worry.
Why?
Ken identifies three major forces working against our relationship. Societal pressure,
Societal pressure,
spiritual opposition,
spiritual opposition,
perhaps the trickiest one,
our own.
our own personal weaknesses.
Let's break them down.
Let's do it.
Let's start with societal pressure.
Okay.
I can definitely see how that plays a role.
Yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with messages that undermine commitment,
Right.
glorify individualism or a partnership, and present unrealistic expectations for what a marriage should be.
That's true.
It's like we're supposed to have this perfect Instagram-worthy relationship, and anything less is a failure.
It's so much pressure.
No wonder so many couples feel discouraged.
I know.
So the key is to be aware of these societal pressures
Yeah.
and consciously choose to prioritize the values that align with your vision for a healthy and loving relationship.
It's about making your own rules.
I like that.
Me too.
Focusing on our own values instead of trying to live up to some external ideal.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about spiritual opposition.
Okay.
This is a concept that might not resonate with everyone,
Right.
but it's worth considering, even if you approach it from a metaphorical perspective.
I agree.
I'm definitely curious to hear more about this.
Well, Ken suggests that there are forces at work that seek to undermine love and commitment.
Undermine love and commitment.
Whether or not you believe in a literal spiritual battle, the truth is that there are negative influences in our lives, both internal and external,
Okay.
that can tempt us to make choices that harm our relationships.
So it's about recognizing those patterns of thinking and behaving that lead us down destructive paths and choosing to resist them.
Yes.
And finally, we come to the enemy within our own personal weaknesses. These are the negative patterns that sabotage our efforts to create loving and fulfilling partnerships.
True.
It might be our tendency to be critical, a fear of intimacy, communication breakdowns, or our unwillingness to compromise.
Right.
We all have those moments where we act in ways that we later regret.
We all do.
So the key is to be aware of the weaknesses, to own them, and to work on them time.
Because when we confront our own inner demons, we become better partners.
Okay, so we've identified the enemies.
We have.
Now what?
Now we fight back.
How do we actually fight back?
That's where the concept of offensive and defensive strategies comes in.
Offensive and defensive strategies.
Ken believes that winning the marriage battle requires both proactive and reactive strategies.
So sometimes we need to go on the offensive, initiating positive change,
Yes.
and other times we need to be on the defensive, protecting ourselves from attack.
It's about having a well-rounded approach, a toolkit filled with strategies for every situation.
This is where I get excited. I love the idea of having a strategic plan for my relationship. What about these offensive and defensive tactics?
Well, that's where Ken's other programs come into play. They offer a variety of approaches to strengthening your relationship from different angles.
We mentioned those earlier, marriage attitude.
Uh-huh.
Head to toe, marriage out of this world, marriage and marriage armor.
That's right.
I'm really curious to hear more about those.
Let's start with marriage attitudes.
Marriage attitudes.
Which draws inspiration from a rather unexpected source,
Okay.
the Beatitudes.
The Beatitudes, those are teachings with goodness and surrender.
That's right.
They're all about cultivating virtues.
Like humility, compassion, peacemaking, and righteousness.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the connection to marriage just yet.
Give me a second.
How does Ken apply those teachings to relationships?
Well, he suggests that by embodying these virtues,
Okay.
we can create a more harmonious and fulfilling marriage. sort of fundamental approach to the relationship.
So, for example, instead of focusing on being right,
Yeah.
we try to approach disagreements with humility and a willingness to understand our partner's perspective.
Exactly.
Now let's move on to entertainment.
Okay.
This program takes a more holistic approach,
Right.
focusing on the connection between our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being.
Uh-huh.
I've heard the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of thing's getting it.
That's exactly it.
Ken emphasizes the importance of taking care of ourselves in all aspects of our being,
Yes.
so we can show up more fully for our partner.
It makes sense.
It makes sense that you're exhausted, stressed, or feeling disconnected from yourself.
Right.
It's getting harder to be present and engaged in your relationship.
Now get ready for this next one because it's a bit out there. Literally.
Okay.
It's called Out of This World.
How about this?
And it uses the analogy of space exploration to inspire couples to dream big together.
Okay, this is where Ken's unconventional approach really shines.
It does. That's all it is.
It's about setting ambitious goals for your relationship,
Okay.
supporting each other's growth and expansion, and constantly seeking new adventures and experiences as a couple.
New adventures and experiences as a couple.
Think of it as launching yourselves into the unknown together, exploring new frontiers of love and connection.
I love that.
Me too.
It's about keeping that spark alive, the sense of wonder and possibility even after years of being together.
That's right.
And finally, we come to marriage armor,
Marriage armor.
as the name suggests.
Yeah.
It draws inspiration from the concept of spiritual armor, equipping couples with tools to face challenges.
Right.
So it's about protecting the relationship from negative influences and building resilience in the face of adversity.
That's right. Think of it as creating a shield of protection around your marriage.
It's so fascinating.
I'm starting to see how each of these programs offers a different piece of the puzzle, a different angle on building a strong and lasting relationship.
They do, and taken together,
Yeah.
they provide a comprehensive roadmap for navigating the complexities of love and commitment.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about communication breakdowns, friendly fire, false holes, enemy lines, and even spiritual armor.
No.
That's a lot to take in.
It is, but I think the key takeaway here is that Ken's approach to marriage enrichment is all about being proactive, strategic, and intentional.
Proactive, strategic, and intentional.
It's about recognizing that marriage is a journey, not a destination, and that it requires effort, commitment, and a willingness to learn and grow.
I'm starting to see my relationship in a whole new light.
Good.
It's exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
I understand, but remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Take your time, explore the concepts, and see what resonates with you.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to take action.
Me too.
But for now, I think I'm going to need to digest all this wisdom.
That's a good idea. Take a moment, listener, and reflect on what we've discussed today.
Reflect.
Which of these concepts stands out to you? What actions can you take to strengthen your own relationships? We'll be back soon to wrap up this deep dive into Ken Schafer's work with some final thoughts and takeaways. Welcome back to our deep dive into Ken Schafer's marriage enrichment programs. It's really been a journey.
Yeah, I feel like we're uncovering this treasure trove of relationship wisdom, and honestly, after all that talk about battles and enemies,
Right.
I'm ready for some inspiration.
Well, you're in luck because at the heart of Ken's work is this deeply hopeful message. Marriage is a battle.
It is.
Right.
And the rewards of a strong and lasting and fulfilling relationship are immeasurable.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing that really struck me about Ken's approach
Yeah.
is his emphasis on personal responsibility. He doesn't shy away from our truths.
No, he doesn't.
He's very clear that we each have a role to play
Right.
in creating a healthy and fulfilling marriage.
It's true.
I think that's refreshing.
It is.
Instead of getting caught up in the blame game,
Right.
Ken empowers us to take ownership of our actions and be the change we want to see in our relationships.
It's true.
I think that's where his background as a counselor really shines through.
I think so too.
He understands that real change starts from within.
Yeah, it's about taking a hard look at ourselves, identifying our own patterns that might be contributing to conflict, and then taking steps to change those patterns.
It's not about waiting for our partner to change.
No.
It's about doing our own inner work.
And that's not always easy. It takes courage, honesty, and a willingness to be vulnerable.
But the payoff
Oh,
is huge.
it is.
When we show up as our best selves,
Yes.
we create the foundation for a love that's truly transformative. And let's not forget Ken's brilliant analogy of cracking the Enigma code.
Right.
It perfectly illustrates the importance of clear and empathetic communication.
It really does. Remember, it's not enough to just speak our minds. We have to choose the right time and place, be mindful of our partner's emotional state, and make sure our message is being received and understood.
Almost like we need to become master code breakers
I know, right?
in our own relationships.
Yes, and equally important is the art of listening.
Listen.
Truly hearing and understanding our partner's perspective, even if we don't agree with it.
This makes me think about all the times I've been so focused on getting my own point across
Yeah,
that I've completely missed what my partner was trying to tell me.
I think we've all been there.
We all have. But when we feel heard and understood,
Yes,
it creates a sense of safety and connection.
absolutely.
It allows us to work through conflicts constructively.
Right?
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Right.
let's circle back to that follow-up thought-provoking question you posed earlier.
Okay.
If your marriage were under siege, what would be your most valuable weapon and your strongest defense?
You know, I've given that some thought, and I think my most valuable weapon would be forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Yeah, holding on to resentment and anger is like letting the enemy camp out in your heart. It poisons the relationship from the inside out.
So forgiveness is like a way of reclaiming your territory.
Yes.
Clearing out the negativity that's holding you back.
Exactly. And it's not about condoning hurtful behavior. It's about choosing to let go of the pain so you can move forward.
What about your strongest defense?
I would say gratitude.
Gratitude.
Yeah, when we focus on what we appreciate about our partner, it shifts our perspective.
It's like building this wall of appreciation around your relationship, protecting it from the negativity that inevitably comes with life's challenges.
That's a great way to put it. And gratitude is contagious
It is.
when we express our appreciation.
Yes.
It inspires our partner to do the same.
So forgiveness is your weapon to disarm the enemy.
Yes.
And gratitude is your shield to protect your heart.
I love that.
I love that too as we conclude this deep dive. I encourage you, dear listener, to reflect on those same questions.
What are your most valuable weapons
What are they?
and strongest defenses?
To the battle for love.
Remember, you don't have to face those battles alone. Ken Schaefer's work offers a wealth of resources, insights, and strategies to help you build a strong, lasting, and fulfilling relationship you desire.
His unconventional approach to marriage enrichment, drawing on everything from battlefield tactics to spiritual principles, might just be the key to unlocking a deeper level of love and connection in your own life.
That's right.
So, dear listener, go for it and fight the good fight armed with the wisdom and strategies we've explored today.
Yes.
And remember, in the battle for love, victory is within reach for those who are willing to do the work.
Thank you, Alexander and Isabella. It seems like you had a lot of fun reviewing this marriage battle program. And I had a lot of fun with the research and applying battlefield strategies to marriage. It was an exciting time. I want to clarify to you and the listeners here that I am not a certified marriage counselor. I am not a pastoral counselor. My counseling that was done as part of the master's degree program as in pastoral counseling, chaplaincy, and Christian leadership. So it's not a licensure that I obtained. And prior to that, I did some peer counseling at a large church. So I just want to make it clear to you and our audience here that I do not do any marriage counseling. And if I were to do any counseling in the future, and I don't envision that at this point, it would be solely in my local church where I am a member. So again, thank you so much for your time, Alexander, Isabella, and your time, the listener, for participating in this program. And I hope that you continue to watch my programs here. Thank you again. Bye-bye.